Good afternoon. My name is Melanie McLean, the Alumni Benefits Planner at York University, joining you from my home office today. First, I want to extend a warm welcome to all of you for taking time today to join us for our first LinkedIn Learning webinar for alumni, Making the Most of LinkedIn Learning. An especially warm welcome to our new grads. I know this isn't the graduation year you had planned, but you did it, and we officially welcome you to our 330,000 person extended family. If at any time you need help with this experience throughout the session, please feel free to click on the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen and enter your question. Our team is on hand and ready to help you. Although we aren't all in the same location, we recognize many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships with the territories upon which York University campuses are located that precede the establishment of York University. York acknowledges its presence on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations. The area known as Takaranto has been caretaken by the Anishinaabe Home Nation and the Haudenosaunee Confederacy and the Huron-Wendat. It is now home to many First Nation, Inuit, and Métis communities. We acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement to peacefully share and care for the Great Lakes region. As part of the York Alumni Engagement Team, I have the great pleasure of working on behalf of the alumni community every day to help make programs like this available to you. And although LinkedIn Learning may be the first alumni program you're taking advantage of, it is just one of many benefits in store for you. And we hope you will take advantage of many more for years to come. And although today we recognize Manulife as our generous sponsor, they are financially helping us to give you free access to LinkedIn Learning. Manulife is more than our sponsor. They're also our partner, providing alumni with exclusive access to life, health, and travel insurance every day. So to learn more about the alumni community and the partners we work with on your behalf, along with many other programs that are available to you, please visit our website, alumniandfriends.yorku.ca. We're currently building events and services, especially to support our younger alumni, and would love to hear suggestions of perks and programs. There are many ways to stay connected. They are joining our LinkedIn group. If you haven't already, please do. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You may also want to subscribe to the York U Alumni YouTube channel, where you'll find a wide variety of York lectures and events. And if you couldn't join us live for the recent gratitude series this past November, all 3 sessions are now available on YouTube, as well as in the LinkedIn Learning collection that I created for you. One of my favorite events from last week is Money Matters for New Grads, conducted by York alumna and founder of the company Money Matters. Her name is Bazia Posen. And Bazia is currently offering York alumni 50% off her 4-week course, so you might want to check that out. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to our dedicated LinkedIn Learning team. We have Zach Farella, Customer Success Manager, and Jennifer Catello, Relationship Manager. And while you've been busy learning over the last few months, Zach and Jennifer have been behind the scenes, helping us get up and running. So today, they're looking forward to walking you through ways you can gain the most out of your LinkedIn Learning access. Zach will be your guide, while Jennifer will field your questions. And we know that you came here for a reason, and although we can't see you, we want to do our best to give you insight and advice that's helpful. So please don't hesitate to use the Q&A function to pose any questions that you have at any time during the session. And Jennifer is also a pro at how to rock your LinkedIn profile. So at the end, you'll be given a chance to win your very own one-on-one session with Jennifer, and she will help you spruce up your profile. So stick around for that. Now, quickly before we start, we want to get to know you a little bit better with a quick poll question. The poll should pop up on your screen momentarily. We'd like to know, we know you're familiar with LinkedIn Learning, but we'd like to know if you were familiar with LinkedIn Learning prior to joining the York U Alumni LinkedIn Learning group. So please take a moment to answer that poll. Great, it looks like even half of you, 50% of you know a little bit already about LinkedIn Learning. So that's great. Hopefully we can get you learning more. Now I'll turn it over to Zach.
Wonderful, thanks. Thanks, Melanie, I appreciate it. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Zach Fiorella. I'm going to be walking through you today with some LinkedIn Learning content. So what we are going to cover today is just why even bother using LinkedIn Learning, what's it all about. Then we'll jump into navigating the platform, go over some tips and tricks and best practices. Then we'll discuss some features on building your network and insights to support you in your career. Then lastly, we'll go into Q&A. Again, thank you very much to the York team for letting us come on and speak with you all today. We're very, very excited. As Melanie was saying, I'm also joined by my colleague Jennifer, who will be hosting and answering any questions in the Q&A or the chat feature. We would love to keep this very interactive, so please feel free to send comments, questions in the chat. Also use the Q&A if the questions in the chat are getting a little cumbersome. We want to make sure your answer or your question gets answered. Please use the Q&A feature. So again, thank you all for joining. Really looking forward to hearing from you all. I would love to just hear a little bit more about you all in the chat. So if you have a second, throw into the chat, a little bit about yourself, when you graduated, your major, what your career focus is now, and maybe a little bit about what you're interested in getting out of today. And while you're throwing that in there, we're going to jump into a little bit about why LinkedIn. So just to start, how does LinkedIn create value for you? Why even bother being on the LinkedIn platform before even getting into LinkedIn Learning? So how does LinkedIn really create value for you? And really overall, our vision is to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. So that's everyone from new grads to people well in their career, to executives, to interns, people starting out. Again, really any way we can help create economic opportunity for you all, that's really our overall vision. And our mission is to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and more successful. That can be everything from connecting you to various groups who have your own interests, to recruiters, hiring managers, and then giving you tools to be more productive and successful. So that's interview tools, that's obviously LinkedIn Learning content and knowledge, articles, and everything in between. So there's lots there that you can do. So definitely leverage that. That is our mission and our vision. And a little more about why leveraging LinkedIn is important is it gives you a chance to build your professional network and connect to jobs. There's over 30 million employers on LinkedIn with 11 million and counting job opportunities. We have millions of mentors and mentees. So I strongly encourage not just leveraging LinkedIn Learning content and building your LinkedIn professional brand, but leveraging that idea that you could mentor and find mentees on LinkedIn and really just connect with others who have like minds in your career. Then lastly, we know every member of the Fortune 500 do recruit on LinkedIn. There's almost 3 million recruiters who are actively filling roles. So definitely leverage that very well for finding your role, finding your career paths. So there's lots there you can do. With that, again, LinkedIn sits on what we call the economic graph. We have over 700 million people on the platform, 50 million companies, 20 million jobs, almost 300 billion knowledge-based pieces. So there's a ton of information there. So with this information, we sit on a lot of insights and can really help map the world's economy. Understand what's going on in any given market at any given time. So who's hiring, what skills are becoming more and more important, what's shifting. It all really starts with this professional community. And from there, we can really branch out and help support you in your own individual and specific needs. So when we think about LinkedIn, again, it's a way for you to connect to the world, the professional world. So that's, again, connecting to employers, recruiters, hiring managers, peers, colleagues, so on and so forth. It's connecting you to your professional brand and your professional network. It's also a way to stay informed on what's going on. So what's top of mind in your industry? Who is, the movers, the shakers? What's going on in your market? What's going on in things you're interested in? Over the last year or so, we've been putting up some news pieces. So on the upper right-hand side of your homepage, you will see some new news on what's going on in industry trends and so on. I'd strongly encourage that. It's a great way to stay, again, very current with what's going on in today's market. And then lastly, of course, it is a way to get hired. So it's a way to build your professional brand, to build your career. And that can be, again, connecting with recruiters, hiring managers. That can be building your own professional brand and building your own skill sets. So you could, go into different markets, build your own professional growth, and so on. So there's a lot there about how you can leverage LinkedIn. But why is this really important? And it is important because we do really face right now a very complex and different workforce than we did previously. We know right now more than ever, candidates and recruiters are really, really facing tough competition. This is one of the most competitive markets in today's environment. It is an incredibly competitive job market. And exclusive of current happenings and what's going on right now, over the last 5-10 years, with new skills, new technologies, is made the market a lot more competitive. So there's a lot of ways that you can leverage LinkedIn and LinkedIn Learning to upskill yourself, to make sure you stay relevant and competitive in your market. We see new skills coming in, and companies are expecting you to have them more and more, or at least developing that mindset to acquire them, that learning mindset. And as we think about new skills too, there's a lot of things that are changing, even if we think about how communication is happening. Especially now more than ever, communication is going very, very digital. So communication skills are getting disrupted, they're getting changed. And just more and more technologies. The Zoom fatigue is a real thing now, webinar fatigue, and just so many different technologies are coming and disrupting how we're working. Again, now more than ever. So we want to make sure that you're staying current, staying relevant, and not just sticking to the traditional career roles and thinking outside of the box, because we do know the world is changing. And part of the way we help support that is, again, LinkedIn Learning. Your Alumni Association was so generous in giving you all some access to LinkedIn Learning. So what it really is it's an area where you can learn, where you can leverage insights, leverage that strategic data points that we were discussing to understand what's going on in your market and learn those specific skills that are going to help you get those jobs. So LinkedIn encompasses three main things. We have a strong learner experience. We have those strategic insights that LinkedIn sits on. And then we have really, really great world-class content. And we take what's going on in the market. So, what skills are becoming more and more in demand, what's changing. And we build our content roadmap based off of that. So it's going to be based off of what's most relevant for you. It's going to recommend those insights to you. So I'm going to take a quick second to pause here. Would love to get your thoughts. I know some of you have had some experience with this in the past, so would love to hear, if there's any courses or skills that you're excited about learning, or you're gonna, dive into right away, if something you know about currently. Well, while you're all throwing that in there, we'll jump forward a little bit more. So what LinkedIn Learning is, is we have 15,000 courses and more in counting that are professionally produced. They're all produced within our studios. So we have a ton of content. We add new courses every week. So we have about 60 new courses added in every week, depending on what's changing and what's going to be most top of mind for current learners. If we think about a lot of the new content that we've been adding recently, it's a lot more on virtual work, because we know that's really, really focused on what everybody is looking towards. All of our content are taught by experts in the field. So every single instructor is vetted. They are hired by LinkedIn to produce their own content. So when we think, it's not just like YouTube content where anyone can go create courses. They are all experts in their field. When you're actually on the LinkedIn Learning courses, you can go click in and view their credentials and view their LinkedIn profiles and any other courses they teach. Then we do also have 7 different languages represented on the platform. So and all the languages are taught by native speakers. So if you want to explore the different language libraries, I'd strongly encourage that. And then as we get into the various types of content that we offer a wealth of different information. Again, there's 15,000 courses and counting on the platform. So we know it can be cumbersome. So it is broken out into 3 specific libraries, but it does span a lot more than that. And the content really can cover anyone's career journey. So if we think about people in, anyone trying to get into management roles, there's lots of content on leadership and management. There's content for virtually any type of functional role. So if you're interested in business intelligence, Six Sigma, education, HR, so any type of functional role. And then we have a ton of great technical skills and soft skills to really upskill yourself and to be, build your most productive professional self. There's a lot of information here and a lot of content here. And with that, we are, a Microsoft company. So all of our content is on Microsoft specifically is really top tier, and it does come out before anyone else has it. So if you are looking to upskill yourself on any Microsoft content, I would strongly encourage jumping into LinkedIn before you go anywhere else. So with that, again, I'm going to pause if there's any questions, and if not, we'll jump into a demo. So Jenna, anything coming in? Any questions you all have?
No questions at this point. It looks like there have been some interests in using the platform to this point over the last several months, and there's some good feedback. Lots of congratulations on being recent graduates, and then a reference to some of the great sessions on mindfulness that are available on LinkedIn Learning.
Great. I love that. And we do have a ton of great courses on mindfulness and wellness in general, and we'll jump into that shortly. But yeah, I would strongly encourage diving in. And as we'll see, as we'll discuss, the LinkedIn library is broken out into business skills, creative skills, and technical skills, but it really does span much more than that. As everybody was saying already, there's mindfulness content, wellness, there's financial wellness, there's courses right now on how to good exercises to breathe with a mask and things like that. So there's a ton of great stuff in there. So I'm gonna go in now. We're gonna look at LinkedIn Learning overall. So when you first log into LinkedIn Learning, if you haven't already created a profile, the first thing you'll get asked and prompted to is to connect your LinkedIn personal profile to your LinkedIn Learning account. This is optional. I would strongly encourage it though. And what that will do is it'll provide you a lot more functionality and a lot greater tools. So if and when you go to another organization and they also have a LinkedIn Learning account, when you have a connected profile, it will allow you to transfer your history over, and you'll be able to keep your history associated with your profile rather than lose it if you lose your LinkedIn Learning license. And there's a ton more benefits that we'll walk into, but just now for now, when you connect your LinkedIn Learning, or you'll have the option at the beginning to connect your LinkedIn Learning account. If you haven't done this and you would like to do it, you can go to your settings, and from there, it'll just give you the option to connect your LinkedIn account. You just click that and log in. The next thing it'll do is prompt you to set a weekly goal. I would strongly encourage this. It'll let you go from 5 minutes to, or 15 minutes to 2 hours. I would strongly encourage setting some type of weekly goal. This is going to keep you honest, keep you, making sure that you're going in. It'll send you some reminders on content you're watching, content you're interested in, and then if you complete your goal, you'll get some little fanfare. It's kind of fun. Definitely encourage that. From there, what we're going to do is we'll see any skills that we want to follow. And this will really help build what's going to be recommended to you. We know the library is a lot. We know it's cumbersome. So we want to make sure we're delivering the right content to you so you're not having to waste time digging through things. So it'll prompt you to follow skills, and you'll see a little skill tree, and it'll follow from leadership type roles and then down into what skills you're really interested in from there. And once you set those, you can always change them later on. So from there, when you actually get into the platform, this is your homepage. We'll see everything at the top. You'll see anything that's new and featured. So right now we have preparing to lead, we have demonstrating accountability, time management, and so on. So any new or featured courses are going to be at the top. As we scroll down, we'll see your weekly goal, anything that's in progress. One thing I do want to point out is the York team has been fantastic in building out a lot of great recommendations for you all. So any recommendations that you'll see from them, you'll see under the From Your Org tab. So you just click that and it'll be under there. And you can see anything that's recommended to you when you click Show All. As we go down the platform, similar to that Netflix type feel where we have lots of carousels, you're going to see many, many different carousels with lots of different content. So see things that are top picks. Apparently, LinkedIn doesn't think I deliver criticism very well, so it's things on how to, anything that's really recommended for you in your role or what you're interested in, it's going to recommend top picks. You'll see what's currently trending. That can be in your industry, that's what's currently trending right now. We also recently partnered with a lot of different organizations, so one of them being Pluralsight. So you will see different content from different providers on here as well. So any recommendations from them, you'll see in carousels. And as you scroll down, you'll see, because you're interested in a specific skill set, it's going to give recommendations. If you've watched a certain course, it's going to give recommendations based off that. And then again, if you do connect your LinkedIn profile, you will see a bunch of different things. You'll see various people who've liked content that you're connected with. And you'll also see a lot more strategic recommendations for you. So based off of your profile and what's going on in your industry and your market. So a lot of content here, lots of things you can scroll through. You can really get lost in all these carousels. And then as we go back up to the top, you'll see the Home tab. You'll see My Learning, Me. Again, if you have multiple accounts or you have your own personal LinkedIn Learning account, you can always click the drop down and switch between the different accounts that you have. And then again, if you haven't connected your LinkedIn profile, you can always go to your settings here and connect your profile. If you want to navigate the different languages, you can go through all the different courses there. You click the little globe icon here, and then you'll see all the various languages that you can switch. When you click them, it'll take you into that library, and you can walk through those libraries there. You should also see a York logo here. And when you click that, it will also take you to all the content that's been recommended and curated by the amazing York team for you all. And then very lastly, you'll see My Learning. And when you click into My Learning, you're going to see any courses that you are currently in progress, courses that you've saved, collections that you've built, and we'll discuss that shortly. Anything again from York University, and anything you've currently watched and what skills you follow. And here again, you could always change the skills you follow, add new skills, and so on. So lots of ways to manage that. From there, when we click, if we want to search for a very specific skill or a very specific course, there's a couple ways we can go about it. If we just want to browse the library, when we click browse, we'll see the three libraries here again: business, creative, and tech. From there, you'll see the various topics that are broken down. And we could go in and dig specifically into those topics. So if we are interested in professional development, we click a professional development topic, we are going to see a wealth of content. We see over 10,000 courses on this topic. And we could scroll down and get really lost in all of this. Anytime you do a search, you will see anything that's freshly updated as tagged here or popular or featured. You'll see various little tags here. If you find a course that you're really, really excited about, and let's say you don't have the time or you want to look and watch later on, you can always save it clicking the icon here, or you can add it to a collection. We'll talk about collections shortly. So as you go through, there's lots of various ways you can dig through content. You will first see any content by. Right now, all the courses are from LinkedIn Learning, but if York has built out great content in this realm, or other providers that we partner with have built out content around that, you can filter for those specific things there. You can also filter for courses, videos, and learning paths, amongst many, many other things. And the differences between the three are a video. Think of it as a bite-sized 2 to 5 minute or 2 to 5 minute thing on a very specific topic. And a course is a collection of videos that comprise a specific outcome, specific skill. So if you think about learning Excel, that'll be a full course of a bunch of different videos. But if we just want to learn how to make a pivot table in Excel, there'll be a specific 2 to 5 minute video on that in an Excel course. And then a click further too, we also have learning paths. And learning paths are lots of courses built up in order to get to a specific goal. So if we want to become, let's use the Excel example again, if we want to become a data scientist, there's going to be a lot of courses within a learning path to become a data scientist. That said, one of those courses is going to be learning Excel, and then one of those videos within learning Excel is going to be pivot tables. So if we click in to learning paths under the professional development realm, when it loads, you'll see a wealth of, or we'll see 28 different types of learning paths on the topic. So we see navigating election season at work, comprised of 4.5 hours of content, developing critical thinking, decision making, again, almost 5 hours of content, managing change in your adaptability skills. And when we click into any of these learning paths, what we'll see is, again, that all the courses that comprise the specific topic. So if we want to really master and understand how to manage change and build our adaptability skills, these are all the courses that are really required to do such a thing. And as we go down, once we complete all these courses, we'll earn a certificate, and we could be able to post that on our LinkedIn profile. If we go all the way to the bottom of a LinkedIn learning path, you'll see all the experts in the field that participated in building out this learning path. So lots there. Again, I want to pause, see if there's any questions, anything coming up in the chat. Jen?
Nothing in the chat right now. We had a great question around the value of courses that appear to be relatively short. So for example, if there's a video or course that's a small, short course, how is that valuable in comparison to the larger or longer ones? And I think you alluded to the breakdown in terms of, videos being intended for those just-in-time learning pivot table example versus a course which is much longer and the intention is really to gain knowledge around a specific subject area, while a learning path is intended to enable you to have master or gain expertise around a specific subject.
Yeah, with Jen on that, we also, one of the providers we partner with is Get Abstract, and they do specific 10-minute videos, and they're all audio only. So if you ever wanted to do a quick audio only article, you could always listen to any Get Abstract. And I personally love that. I know it's not directly in line with the question, but would definitely encourage those quick sound bites. There's also a lot of courses that are weekly tips, and I believe they are typically 5-minute weekly tips. And you never actually finish those courses. You can just follow them, and every week they'll send out a new weekly tip. One of the ones I follow is the financial tips. So every week we put out a new 5-minute financial tip on what to do in investing and so on and so forth. So would definitely encourage that. So with this, again, the next thing we could do is if we are really interested in, let's say, a specific skill set. So let's just go back to the Excel example. If we are really interested in Excel, we want to learn how to really build out pivot tables and become an Excel expert. One thing we could do is, let's say we're in the accounting field and we found a great course on here. Again, we could always filter for the various content. So if there's something from Get Abstract or O'Reilly Media that we want to watch, we can do that. But let's say we're very specific on courses. We find this great course here. We click into it. From here, you'll see the breakdown of all the videos and the topics. So every course is going to be broken down by topic. So the first topic is major tasks in the accounting industry. The next one is QuickBooks. And they're all comprised of these various 2 to 5-minute videos. You're also going to see some chapter quizzes. These are going to be knowledge checks. You're not necessarily graded on these topics, But if you do miss a question, it'll direct you back to the right spot in the video to watch and really master that skill. You can always save the specific video on the right-hand side with this icon. And as we go through, there's getting more content, more questions as you go through. From here, on the top right-hand side, you'll see anything on the course. So if we want to save the overall course, again, that icon's here. It wouldn't be LinkedIn without the ability to like things. So you can always like the course here, or if you want to share it. So let's say you want to send it to a friend or peers, so on and so forth. You can always share it on LinkedIn, grab the link, send it through email, send it through Teams, and so on. So lots you can do there. As you watch the course, I like speeding it up to 1.5 just because I'm impatient. So you can always speed up, slow down the course as you go through, turn on closed captioning, change any settings, typical video player. When we scroll down a little bit further, we're going to see 4 different things here. You'll see an overview, Q&A, notebook, and transcripts. Under the overview, you're going to get the instructor, and if you want to view their credentials on LinkedIn, you can always click View on LinkedIn. If you want to see anything that's related to this course, you can find that here. And this is really important because there's a lot of great content here. And a lot of this will come, well, a lot of this you won't have the ability to do without a connected LinkedIn profile. First and foremost, you'll be able to see any learning groups that are associated with this course. So if we click learning groups, we'll see any new groups or any groups we've joined. And these are groups you can join on the LinkedIn platform around this topic. So we see there's an Excel learning group on LinkedIn. Jen's a part of it. We can join it, and then from there, kind of connect with other colleagues, or connect with other people in the industry that might also have similar questions. We do know everyone learns a little differently, and everyone might have different questions, different comments. So you can always engage with people there. We're going to see any exercise files. So here you'll see we have exercise files on Excel for Accountants, a glossary, and other examples here. You could download them and use them to follow along within the course. From here, you'll see any certificates. So at the very end of a course, you will be able, or when you complete it, you get a LinkedIn Learning certification. And then if there's any additional continuing education credits or any certified bodies, like this one is NASBA, that is along with that, you can always download the certificate and then pass the exam and get that continuing education credit along with that. And we'll cover that shortly. So you can always do that there. And then if you've completed the course and you have your LinkedIn Learning certificate, you can always publish that to LinkedIn and put that under your LinkedIn profile. Lastly, at the very end, you can always start the exam. So lots you can do there. As we go through, you'll see more of the course details. So you'll see the ratings. We have almost 270 people who've given it a 4.5-star rating. You'll see when it was updated. Some of the content for various things can be, a couple years old. We do try and stay top of mind and try and update and regularly make sure our courses are up to date. So you'll see when it was last updated, what the difficulty is. This one's an intermediate course. You'll see the summary, any of the objectives, and then the skills covered. And the skills covered is also really important. So what that'll do is when you complete the course, it'll give you the option to take those skills and import them into your LinkedIn profile. And a lot of times when recruiters are looking for specific candidates, they will filter for people's LinkedIn profiles that have these skills tagged to them. So it's strongly encouraged when you complete courses to import those skills into your LinkedIn profile. And then lastly, you'll see a little bit about the viewer makeup of who's actually watched this course. This is kind of at an aggregate level. So we'll be able to see how many people are watching it, what industries are they in, and so on. So it gives you a little bit more background on, is this course right for you? From here, you'll see the Q&A feature. This is only a feature, again, if you have your LinkedIn profile connected. Here, again, you'll be able to see the learning groups associated to this. But we do know everyone learns a little differently. So if you do have a specific question, you can always type it in here, ask the question. A lot of times the LinkedIn community answers it. Very often the instructors answer it. They're actually incentivized to do so. so they can always get in there. And then you could add any notes that you've taken as you go through in your notebook. And then lastly, you could view the transcript. And I think the transcript is actually really powerful because what it'll do is it'll actually go through and highlight the words as it's going along so you could read and follow along. You can also search for a very specific keyword in the transcript. So if there's, again, if you want to find pivot tables, you can type that in the transcript and search for it. You can search for it in the video or in the course overall. It's a great tool, again, for you to find exactly what you're looking for and learn that specific topic. So there's tons there. The very last thing I want to cover on the LinkedIn Learning platform is the collections. So from here, you can create a new collection. And what it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a collection of courses that you've put together. You can create as many as you'd like. So what you just do is create a new collection, enter your title and your description, and then build that up. And if there's a great collection that you've put together that you want to send to others, you can always share that with others. You just click the share button. You send it to friends, colleagues, peers, and so on. So this one we put together very, very quickly. Again, we have Excel training, we have PMI, we have tech everyday questions. That's my favorite course on here. I would strongly encourage it. The first video is, can I trust my coffee shop Wi-Fi? So there's lots of great content in there. And to no surprise, you can't trust your coffee shop Wi-Fi. And then a lot more in here. So again, financial adulting, breathing exercises, 6 morning habits of high performers. And again, you could save any of this content, you could delete it, you could change your collection as needed. So a lot of good stuff here. You can always edit it and change it later on. When you share it, you can make it only visible to you. You can make it visible to everyone on LinkedIn, and then send it out. So I'm going to pause there. That's kind of LinkedIn Learning in a nutshell. We are also coming out with watch parties. So that's a little bit more down the line, but stay tuned for that. Watch parties will come out, and what it'll enable you to do is watch courses with your friends, just in real time. So if other people are watching a specific course, you want to watch it with them and then share insights as you go through. That's something you will now be able to do. So I'm going to pause here for a second. Are there any other questions on how to navigate LinkedIn Learning specifically? Okay, I'll take silence as no. So I'm going to jump back a little bit into some insights to help you support your career growth. So now that we kind of walked through LinkedIn Learning and how to watch content to build our own skill sets, from here, we want to really understand what can we do to drive our own career growth. So right now, again, we know that skills are changing faster than ever. We know communication is changing. If we think about data science wasn't really a field 5-10 years ago, and now it's one of the hottest fields right now and growing every day. So things are changing very, very rapidly. We see about a third of core job skills are going to change in the next 5 years. So part of leveraging LinkedIn Learning is making sure you're staying relevant with your own current skills. What we see right now is the most in-demand soft skills. So these very in-demand transferable skills are creativity, persuasion, collaboration, adaptability, and time management. Lots here, and employers everywhere are looking for these specific core skills. And these will really help make your skill set in demand no matter what your career role is. These are very, very transferable, and everyone is looking for them. When we look at really hard skills and technical skills, we see the most in-demand ones right now are cloud computing, AI, analytical reasoning, people management, and UX design. So a lot here, lots we can do. And if you are in fields that these are important to, I would strongly encourage to brush up on these on LinkedIn Learning, publish your certificates, showcase that you have these skills, and really take that time to publish that to recruiters and showcase to them that you have these skill sets that are so in demand. When we look at the Greater Toronto area, on LinkedIn specifically, we see over 2.5 million people And right now there's about 34,000 jobs posted. So there's a ton in the Greater Toronto area. When we look at the largest employers, we see TD, Scotiabank, RBC, CIBC, so on and so forth. And some of the top employers that are currently hiring are University Health Network, Walmart Canada, Scotiabank, again. So there's a lot here and a lot we can take from the LinkedIn platform and really help derive them into insights. So with the most in-demand skills, specifically in the Toronto area, we see, again, analytical reasoning, engineering, software development, but as we go through to a lot more soft skills, so customer experience, relationship management. So there's a ton here that you can really take and harness and understand how you make your own skill sets and your own professional brand most in demand to what's going on in the current market. And then if we look at more broadly, the York University alumni, when we see kind of overall of all of your alumni, some of the top functions they're in sales, education, operations, and where they work. A lot of them stick around. A lot of them work at York University. Many are at TD Bank, Scotiabank, CIBC, City of Toronto, and so on. And then when we look at the graduates over the last 5 years, we actually see many stuck in education. Some are in operations, healthcare, and then some of the top companies are TD, Scotiabank, and some of the top industries are government, professional services, financial services. So, why does all this matter? And really what this is telling us is we can see, who's going into what industries and who's hiring your peers, your colleagues, your friends. And so looking at that, you can really strategically position yourself to say, my next career move is going to be at TD. I know I have a really strong network there that I could tap into. So now how do I make myself, how do I build my own professional brand to really target that? And if we take this a click further, we can actually see some of the fastest growing skills in those key industries. So if we look at corporate services, we see virtual work, no surprise, is one of the top skills that are most growing in this industry. We also see cloud administration, high performance, virtual collaboration. It's a lot of stuff there that's going to be really relevant to what's going on right now in the market. Same thing in finance. We see virtual work, collaboration, LinkedIn learning, cloud administration. So you could take some of these insights and say, okay, my next move is going to be at Scotiabank, at TD, wherever, and these are the industries I'm targeting. So let's make a strategic plan on how we're going to build our skill sets to really hone in and target these areas. And you could leverage LinkedIn Learning content to do just that. And with developing yourself on LinkedIn Learning, now that we're kind of understanding what's going on in our market, there's some ways we can really leverage this to develop ourselves. So to prepare for the workforce, there's some content that I would strongly encourage utilizing. Wellness is one of them. We have a ton of great wellness courses. I know we talked about that a little bit already, but I would definitely encourage getting into the platform, taking some time for yourself, now more than ever, to brush up on your wellness content, brush up on how to be mindful. There's a lot you can do. You can leverage it for career readiness, and then identify your own skills gaps to hone in, to build, and become your strongest professional self. So with the well-being content, I would really encourage some courses around building resilience, managing stress for positive change, overcoming imposter syndrome, managing your career if you're an introvert. So, but there's so much more on here. I also always encourage the financial well-being courses. I think we could all use some brushing up on our own financial skills and financial education. So lots there. When we look at our own personal development, I would strongly encourage working on transferable skills and get anything on health and wellness. And then again, taking some time for yourself to hone in on any passion projects you're interested in. So for soft skill development and those transferable skills, again, communication, incredibly important, leadership, conflict resolution, problem solving, adaptability. These are all things you can go in on LinkedIn Learning and learn how to best brush up on those skills. For health and wellness, again, everything we already talked about, building resilience, developing a positive mindset, a growth mindset. And then on passion projects, there is a ton of great content on here. And some of them really dig into anything that you might be really passionate about. So one of my favorites is anything on songwriting. You can learn how to play the ukulele on there. If you're a big photography buff, learn how to take great photos, how to use various film programs. There's a ton of different stuff. For passion projects, if you don't necessarily have the time, I would encourage even just 5 minutes every day to learn a little bit about that topic. It's a great way to really develop your own personal interests. From there, again, there's a ton of great ways to master your professional and demand soft skills. And when we send out the link, you'll have a link to some learning paths we put together here. There's courses on becoming a successful job hunter, improving your problem-solving skills. These are some of the skill gaps that we've seen. So we put these together specifically for you. You can click on those and go into them. On the next slide, we're going to see a little more on our continuing education and our certification prep content. So if you are interested in getting your AWS certification, your Scrum Master, HRCI, Salesforce, Six Sigma, any of the things we have on here, and then many more, you can actually go into the system and take all the continuing education or the certification prep courses on here without spending a dime. They're all certified by these institutions to prep for those specific tests. So you could take these courses and then just go in, pay for the test, complete the test, and get your certification. So again, this is going to let you save a little bit of money, take the time virtually to watch these courses, and get prepped for these specific certifications that you might be interested in taking. And then once you have these certifications, we also offer a lot of continuing education programs. These are just a few, there's a bunch more. But if you have your Project Management Institute certification and you want to keep it relevant, you could take LinkedIn Learning courses. And then at the very end, where we saw the little exam, when you complete that exam, you will end up getting a code that you can enter into any of these organizations. So when we looked at the Excel one, we saw NASBA, but we'll see Project Management Institute and plenty of others, where when you take the course, you enter it in and you get that content and you get that credit to those specific certifications. One of the last things I want to talk about is just putting this all into practice. I know there's a ton of things we've covered here. And if you are really interested in a very specific career path, you have a specific goal in mind, what I'd strongly encourage doing is going to a company that you're really interested in working at, entering in a specific job role. So for this example, we use Customer Success Manager at LinkedIn. When you search for that, you'll see the job profile. And once you do that, you'll see how you match up. You'll see all the skills here and what you're missing and what you might actually currently have. If some of the ones that aren't highlighted you already have, fantastic. Put that on your profile, make sure you're flagged to the recruiter. If you don't have those skills, click on them, go into your LinkedIn Learning account and search for those courses. Learn that content. And then once you've learned it, import those skills over, publish that certification. So that way, again, you are top of mind to recruiters. You are focused right there. And then when you go back to this profile, you'll see all these bubbles filled out, and you know that you're a great candidate for that specific role. When you do complete courses on LinkedIn Learning, again, showcase that growth. So publish your certificates of completion. You'll get those at the very end. You'll, under your license and certifications in your specific personal profile, that's where they'll all come up. So you'll see anything here, any credentials you've already watched. And again, just make sure you're showcasing that learning mindset and that learning growth that you've been building over the years. So build a career-ready portfolio, build any skills inventory that you currently have, and help support your professional brand. This will do wonders for your professional career. It will showcase to recruiters that you have those skills. So there's a ton of stuff there that you'll be able to leverage and support. And the very last thing I want to highlight is we do have a lot of new tools So when we send this out to you all, you'll get these links, but we have an interview toolkit. And so what you can do is actually go in and do interview prep with LinkedIn. And when you click on that, it'll prompt you with questions, and you can answer those questions, and it'll give you frameworks on how to answer that. And then it'll record you and give you real-time feedback on how you can improve on those answers. How was your tone, your pacing, your inflection as you're speaking. So there's a lot of great prep tools there. We also have a career explorer. This is relatively new. You could go in and actually search for a specific career, see the different skills, see what skills you might already have or what might be closely aligned to what you currently do, and then which skills it's going to recommend to build. So there's a lot of cool stuff there. I'd strongly encourage getting in there, playing around with it, looking at different career trajectories, and going in. And then lastly, LinkedIn Learning is its own separate app. So you have a LinkedIn app, you also have a LinkedIn Learning app. Would really encourage downloading the LinkedIn Learning app. This will also give you the ability to download content on your phone and then listen to it without any Wi-Fi. And you could also turn it into an audio only mode. So if you are commuting, you're traveling, you want to listen to just the audio, this will also provide you those features. So we have about 5-10 minutes left. So I'm going to leave the rest of the time for Q&A. So Jen, any questions come up? Is there anything to the group that we want to cover and do a deeper dive into?
No, not at this point. I've answered 2 questions in the Q&A section, but so far no other questions.
So if are there no other questions? Maybe we can wrap up.
Sure.
All right. Thank you, Zach. Thanks for sharing all of your expertise with us today. It's a lot of information. And
so yeah, thank you for having me. It's great speaking with you all.
Yeah, I have to go set my learning goals now. I have about, I think, a dozen courses saved, and now I have to set the goals so I actually do them. Anyways, thank you also, Jennifer, for fielding the questions that have come in while Zach was sharing with us. Ultimately, what we want to do is support our newest alumni with their career growth, and we hope that this session does give you the tools to help you upgrade or learn new skills within the LinkedIn Learning platform. So there's also a session I want to draw your attention to. It's the November 10th session called What Recruiters Look For in Recent Grads. So it features a panelist of alumni recruitment specialists, and they give quite a good selection of useful tips to help you get hired. So if you haven't had a chance to look at that session, I highly recommend it. So if you have any questions after this session today, please don't hesitate to email me or email the general alumni email address. It's alumni@yorku.ca. So that basically concludes our session today. But before we say goodbye, we have a prize giveaway, and we'd love your feedback on today's session. So if you don't mind taking a moment to tell us in the Q&A how useful you found today's session. So a simple yes or no in terms of you found it useful, or if you want to provide us more specifics about what you learned and what you found most useful, or what you wish you had have learned, that would be super. Everyone who sends us feedback through the Q&A right now will be entered into a draw to win a one-on-one session with Jennifer to learn how to rock your LinkedIn profile. So please take a moment to reply to the Q&A. And I think that basically is it. We do look forward to actually seeing you at events in the future when it is safe to do so. But for now, we'll just say goodbye, and I wish you well. Stay safe, everyone.